So in this video, I want to show you how to take a regular old lightning cable like this and turn it into something like this. Maybe this works better for your use case. It's a little shorter, it's stretchier, bouncier. And I don't think I've ever had a video like this where it's so dangerous that I have to say don't try this at home. And I know I'm showing you how to do this, but proceed with caution, okay? Because we're going to be using heat and you don't want to catch anything on fire. And you also don't want to over melt your cable so as to reduce the quality of the shielding. So you don't want any wire exposed. So proceed with caution. You have been warned. So I've tried this a couple different ways, and what I found is having some gaff tape or some high quality strong tape is important. I'm using a pencil. Remember, you're going to put, the plan is to wrap the cable around the pencil, tape it down nice and coiled, and then put it somewhere hot. somewhere hot. Now in the videos I've seen them use a hair dryer, so maybe that's an option of using a hair dryer to just heat it up. I didn't have too much luck with that, but I bet that would work too. I, being the more dangerous, ridiculous guy I am, put it in my toaster oven. But watched it very closely because I didn't want the rubber to melt. Also, you don't want to put anything explosive or anything that'll catch on fire in your toaster oven. So I was pretty confident that this wood was not going to burst into flames in the toaster oven, but just don't put like something like a pen in there that's going to melt or explode or anything flammable in your toaster oven. So here we go. I'm going to show you what I did. So first things first. Sorry about my finger. I chopped my finger. Oops, I did not mean to give you the finger there. That was a mistake. But I chopped my finger on a potato slicer. And so I've got a little band-aid there, if you were wondering what that's about. I'm going to take a strip of, this is gaff tape, high quality gaff tape. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this vertically. And I am going to wrap this around. And I'm going to actually wrap it a couple times because you don't want it unraveling in the toaster oven. Let me tell you, been there, done that. You don't want this rubber to accidentally touch the metal leads in the toaster oven. It'll make a nice stinky melted rubber kind of smell. So there we go. So I've double gaffed this down now. See, this pencil is now kind of holding on to the end there. And the reason I do that is now I can start wrapping this around. So wrap it a few times, make sure it's nice and even, and then tight, and then slide it down like this. So wrap it around, slide it down. Slide down, around, slide down, around, slide down. Maybe it turns, around, slide down. No, I got this. But now I've got to tape this side down too. And take it. So now we have a pencil. And we've got the cable wrapped around the pencil, taped at both ends. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to get some foil just because I don't want this thing to melt to my toaster oven. So I'm going to set the pencil on the foil in the toaster oven. Okay, so now I've set it inside of our toaster oven on a piece of foil. I'm going to set the toaster oven to convection bake. 350, we'll say. Temperature 350. And go. Okay, now you can see it's really heating up in there. One thing to remember is you don't want to heat it to the point where you're getting all kinds of plastic fumes. You don't want to breathe in any kind of plastic fumes. So don't melt it to the point where it's smoking or anything. I think I got still a minute or two left on my 5-minute timer. Every oven heats a little differently, so gotta watch closely. I'm watching to make sure that the cable itself doesn't get all super glistening and melted. And also, we don't want the cable to melt to itself. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. I'm gonna hit the stop button on my oven, open this up, And I'm pulling the foil out. It does look like I may have over melted it a little bit on this side. You see the lightning connector is kind of melted. Just a tad. Let's go cool it off. This cable may have gotten some water inside of it. That was pretty dumb on my part. So you got to make sure that your wires are free of moisture before you plug them into anything. So I'll make sure this dries. It's keeping its form there, but you'll see I think leaving it in for 5 minutes was too much maybe. It melted a little bit of the plastic over here. The connector still seems fine. But so maybe something more like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or use the hairdryer. So let's get this other side off and we'll see what it looks like. Look, it split my pencil. The heat must have split the pencil in half. Pretty cool. And yeah, these have melted a little bit together. So again, maybe 3 minutes in the oven, but still pretty good. And here it is, the final product. Now, again, I left it in a little too long, and so some of these wires are kind of melted to each other. But if you kind of give it a little bit, just pull it apart a little bit, it'll spring back, it'll separate. And I'm going to look really closely at the wire to make sure there's no wire exposed. I don't want any exposed wire, or that could be a fire hazard, right? So, yep, there's no exposed wire. And the only thing I do see is the ends are a little bit melted. But again, like, reduce your time, your cook time for maybe like 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes at 350. And then you can have your own scrunchy lightning cable like this. Hopefully this hack is kind of helpful for you. It's something that we saw online and we tested it, and it does in fact work. And the cables do still work as well.